Hey YouTube, this is Miss Metamorphosis, aka the Fearless Freshman, coming to you with another video. So today I want to tackle scholarship essays, okay? A lot of people want to get scholarships, they sound great, but sometimes it's a little tricky because you gotta write an essay. Not always, but a lot of them may require you to do some kind of written work, okay? So I narrowed this down into 4 basic rules, okay? If I can tell you nothing else, just adhere to these 4 things and you should be pretty successful in getting scholarships. Okay, number 1, when you get a scholarship essay, the first thing you got to do is read the directions, okay? I'm an English teacher. I was a writing coach in college. I was a writing coach in graduate school. I've written scholarship essays for myself. I've helped people. I didn't write it for them, but I've helped them come up with their scholarship and application essays, and I'm telling you, read the directions, okay? Reading is fundamental. So when I say read the directions, I mean like there may be specific requirements, like it has to be up to 500 words or no less than 750 or can't exceed 1,000. So you gotta know how much you're writing, but also if it's gotta be double spaced, you know, typed, handwritten. Now 99% of the time it's going to be typed. I've never heard of an essay, a scholarship essay that is supposed to be handwritten. Could be, you never know. But whatever the specifics are, you got to read to make sure you know what they want, okay, what they're looking for. And that's an easy way for them to throw out applications, because trust me, you are not the only one trying to get their money. So what you want to do, read the directions so that way they can't throw it out because you didn't follow directions, all right? So that's the first thing. Secondly, number 2, so we already got reading the directions down. Now here's another big thing. Read the question. You got to read the question and understand it carefully, because if you don't know what you're writing about, you're just going to be talking about something that has nothing to do with the topic, okay? That's another reason that they could throw your paper out. So make sure you understand the question, okay? So it can sound beautiful, you can write this long essay, but it has to be on topic, all right? So, and a lot of times these different scholarship committees and organizations and charities and nonprofits and whatever, a lot of times they'll use a lot of similar topics. Now, if their organization or whatever it is, or scholarship committee is pertaining to a specific thing, maybe animal rights or human rights or whatever, then their topic will be more catered to that, to what they have to do with. But one of the most common topics is explain your leadership qualities. It's not really a question. It's telling you to explain or describe something, or explain how you'll use this to further your education, or how your education will further your career endeavors, you know? So you got to understand first what you're going to be writing about. Okay, so number 1 was to read the directions. Number 2 was to read the question. Understand the question clearly. Okay, because, and let me say this before I move on, I was just about to move on, but a big part of of scholarship essays, but even with some of these written assessments, like you guys may have had to do a written assessment in high school and middle school, a big part of that is, did you answer the question? If you didn't answer the question, your paper's getting thrown in file 13. Okay, so make sure you read and answer the question clearly. Number 3, what did I say? Keep it simple. Okay, so back to what I was saying about reading the directions. It may give you a word limit or certain parameters or boundaries you got to stay within. Okay, keep it simple. Just because something has to be 1,000 words doesn't mean you go on and on and on and on and on forever, okay? So let's say, for example, the topic was explain your leadership qualities, your best leadership qualities. Well, you may have a ton of them. You may be really organized, you may be really punctual, you may work well with others, you may be able to have a commanding presence, you may have all these amazing qualities. Pick 1 or 2 examples where you show those qualities, okay? And you may have been involved in like 10 different things at school. You may have been involved in things at your church, at your temple, at your synagogue, on a team outside of school. You may have been involved in a lot of stuff, but you're not going to have enough room to talk about all of it. So pick 1 or 2 really good things that you want to discuss and talk about those, because it's better to have 2 or 3 things that you really explain really well and they really sell you as far as your abilities, as opposed to having like 10 things that are you just kind of sound okay on and you don't really sound that enthused about. So pick 2 or 3 things, or even one thing that you are really, really good at, okay? For example, I was stage manager for A Midsummer Night's Dream at my high school my senior year, okay? So that was a lot of responsibility, and that was over the course of months. Like, I had to learn the script. I had to help the actors and actresses on stage with their lines. I had to oversee like the costuming crew. I had to oversee lights. I had to oversee stage direction. Like, I was basically second in command under the director. So that's a lot of responsibility. Okay. So I would talk about that. I might say, as stage manager for my high school's drama club, or for such and such high school drama club this year, my responsibilities included, and then I would explain that. So it's one really good example, but it explains a lot of different things, okay? Or they might ask you to write about a time where you did something or you showed a certain quality. Pick one really good example, okay? So that's what I mean by keep it simple. You don't have to give 10 examples. Just give 1 or 2, no more than 3 really good ones, because you're not going to have enough space to do more than that anyway. Number 4. If I cannot tell you to do anything else. Okay, so number 1, we said read the directions. Number 2, we said read the question. Number 3, we said keep it simple. Number 4, and this drives me banana sandwich all the time as an English teacher, revise and edit. Please revise and edit, okay? All right, so you're trying to get a scholarship, so you want to be taken seriously. You cannot expect them to take you seriously if your paper is full of errors, okay? If every other word is misspelled, if you got if your essay is one long sentence, there's not a period in sight. If you don't have letters that should be capitalized, if you have a lowercase I, if you're using text lingo, please, side note, only use text lingo if you are quoting something or someone, okay? Unless the topic has something to do with you using text lingo, the actual topic requires you to, then do it. But other than that, leave text lingo out of any kind of formal writing, okay? But yeah, revise and edit. And this is where I even tell my students now, I'm an English teacher now, like I said. So have someone read over your first draft. I can almost guarantee you that your first draft will not be your final draft, okay? Have someone else read it, because you've looked at it so many times that you know what you mean to say in your head, but it may not translate the same way on paper, okay? So have someone else. It always helps to have a fresh pair of eyes to look at what you wrote, because they don't know what your ideas are in your mind. They only know what's on paper. So they can actually look at it objectively and say, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. Or I need to capitalize this, or there's no subject-verb agreement here. So yeah, make sure you have somebody look at it. Or if you have the time, and this is why I say read the directions so you know about deadlines, if you have time, step away from it for a day or 2, and then come back to it and read it just start to finish exactly as you wrote it. And then you might be able to catch things like, wait, what? So that way you'll be able to fix it, okay? So again, read the directions, read the question, keep it simple, and revise and edit. I cannot stress that enough, okay? That drives me banana sandwich, to quote Dane Cook, okay? When my students turn in work and I know they didn't even look at it. They didn't give it a second look, okay? I can guarantee you it can make a difference between you and another person getting that scholarship. And also, certain organizations and nonprofits and companies, a lot of them give multiple scholarships. So it may not be narrowed down to one person. It may be narrowed down to 10 people. You have a better chance of being one of those 10 if your work makes sense and it looks like you took time. Because if it looks like you rushed through it, you can't expect them to take you seriously if you're not taking you seriously, okay? So keep that in mind when you're writing scholarship essays and even application essays for your colleges if you're applying this fall or this summer or whatever. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to write them down in the comments. Please subscribe. I'm trying to get more videos up since I have time this summer. And also, if you have any other questions that you'd like to ask me via email, you can email me at thefearlessfreshman@gmail.com, and I'll be more than happy to get back in contact with you, and answer any questions you might have. So until then, I'll talk to you later.